All right, praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. We are here again on Testimonies and Praise. I am your host, Jacqueline Hall Moore, from Dayton, Ohio. If you guys didn't know where I was from, but most of you guys know. I am sitting here today with Black artists. I want to stipulate Black artists because this is our Black History Month. And the t-shirt that I'm wearing says it for as long as I'm Black, I am history. I don't need a month to tell me I'm Black all day long. So I appreciate this t-shirt, and I understand that God is doing some magnificent things. And this month at Grace United Methodist Church, we are hosting a Black art showcase. And I tell you, when I say there's been some magnificent artists that have their art hung up in the gallery, and also you'll see some art from different people like Mr. Wade and some others that are from Sacramento, California, another part of Texas and Louisiana. And it's just amazing that what God has done with this art, with this showcase. And then on March 6th, we have a reception. You guys can get to meet the artists and get to look at all the different art that's there. But tonight, we're all about Mr. Lloyd Wade. And I won't tell you a whole lot because you guys know I can talk, but I want to let him talk about who Lloyd Wade is and what did he bring to this art showcase. And I tell you, his art is absolutely magnificent. I wish I could draw, but I can't. God didn't give me that talent. Many talents he's given me, but that was not one. I wish I can draw a stick. Maybe that's all I can do, stick people. But this young man has talent among talent. As you can see in his background, I know he drew that. I just can't even imagine the mind of an artist. But Mr. Lloyd Wade is one of those magnificent, talented young men. And I just would love to have him just tell us who he is, and we'll get started with the rest of it.
Okay. Thank you for that introduction. I'm Lloyd G. Wade. I'm a native of Monroe, Louisiana, a graduate of Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and also a graduate of the School of the Art Institute, Chicago. I'm currently a art teacher and the department chair at Thurgood Marshall High School. And I am now currently in my 15th year of education.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I am a professional artist, so I am exhibiting, and then currently I'm probably about 3 shows in, I guess, for this month, and I already have some lined up for March.
Wow. You've been teaching for 15 years. Wow, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you teach art?
I teach
Wow.
all art parts. Being the department chair, I'm over all the fine arts programs. So that includes band, theater, dance, all those complete pieces. Just I'm kind of the lead teacher, the connect between the administration and my fellow teachers in the classrooms. But otherwise, I do myself have my own art that I display and sell originals and reproductions.
Wow. Okay, so how long have you been painting?
As long as I guess my fingers were moving. So I'll be 47 this year. So
oh wow.
I'm gonna say at least 45 of those years.
Really? What do you like to draw most? What is your favorite thing to draw?
I'm a figurative majority, but I do also do symbolism, pattern work, and some abstract here and there. But most of the time it's going to be figurative. A lot of symbols are in my piece. I do a combination of figure pieces with nature. You'll find a lot of nature things, such as the Adam and Eve that's behind me here, with the transformation of the trees. But for the most part, I'm a people person. So, but at the same time, I teach all fields of art. So I teach ceramics, printmaking, painting, of course, and drawing. I even know how to weld too. So we take care of all facets of it.
Oh my God. So the pieces behind you, you said that Adam and Eve. Can you kind of explain the art that you drew?
Right. So Adam and Eve has kind of been my highlight piece throughout my exhibiting years here. They're actually created in 2 different years, but they are basically the illustration of the Bible story of Adam and Eve. And if you get a chance to see them up close, if you can go to my website, you can see them up close. It's a transformation of the man and the woman transforming into the tree. We talk about Adam and Eve, but we also have to talk about the tree itself as being a main character in the story. So both of them have an apple hanging from their limbs. Adam's apple is bitten, but Eve's is not. And so people always ask, well, why is Adam's apple bitten and Eve's not? Well, I said in the story, nothing happened when she bit the apple. I said, so God gave him the commandment to not eat from that tree. So when he ate from the tree, that's when they became known. You know, they knew that they were naked. They knew that they had sinned because God gave him the responsibility of the garden and not Eve at the time. So, you know, it's a different, you know, most people just usually give you them in the garden, but I gave them actually transforming into the tree itself. So their bodies have this lineage to them. And these are in charcoal. So I work in all parts of the medium, charcoal, paint, ink, watercolor, all mediums. Nothing's off
Charcoal?
hands. Charcoal.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not the charcoal that we barbecue with.
No. The charcoal we barbecue with is more flammable. This is a compressed charcoal. So it's a little bit smoother, it's cleaner than what we.
That's amazing. I'm looking. At first, I didn't know what the body was. I just thought it was maybe some armor. And then now you're telling me that it's the tree. That's right. Oh my God, that's amazing. Can you scoot over just a little bit so we can see all of it?
Well, let me go this way because some of the computer is a little reversed.
I understand.
So there you go.
Oh my God. Oh wow.
And so Eve.
Oh my God.
Eve has the.
Amazing. Wow. How long did it take you to draw something like that?
If I'm consistent, I can go through these in probably about a 2-week period on and off, I guess, in their time. So hour-wise, I guess, probably maybe 72 hours. Just not consistent 72 hours, but 72 hours maybe. And as you know, as a teacher, I have to learn, you know, quickness, you know, as far as I have to keep the attention of my kids all the time. So I've learned how to find different processes that can be done quickly, you know, but still get good results.
Right. So how do you keep the attention and what ages do you teach?
I teach 9th through 12th grade.
Oh, wow.
Right. So these are the young adults.
Right.
Right. So, and we do that by a mixture of technology and learning, you know, their culture that they bring. And then of course we teach at a multicultural school. So, you know, having to get your African-American culture, and then again, the other cultures that are there as well, the Asian culture, the Hispanic culture that is there as well. So those different things is what makes it a lot of fun to each of us learning each other all through our art, because art is one of those pieces that, you know, has no boundaries. You cannot, if you can't speak, but you can see a drawing and each person can interpret their own thing through it, you know.
So what is one of the things that you have found as an artist that's hard to understand why we as American people are not more into art? I mean, but with me doing this project, I'm getting more and more of understanding that we need to share the art is amazing and it's magnificent, and I don't know how you guys do it, and I don't see enough people knowing about art. So what can we do as American people to get our babies to understand that this is something that they can do or get them interested in it?
That's a very good question. It's an ongoing struggle for the artists, but also especially in education. to show the value of our culture through our artwork and art forms, um, especially with our kids nowadays. And they're so into, well, how is this going to make me money, or how am I going to make a living with these things, different things? And I have to convince not yet just the student, but also have to convince the parent. And because we were, as educators, we had the tendency that the art class becomes, kind of the recess place. But, as it gets higher, and I teach some of the upper level classes where we have AP, and this is for those kids who are looking to major into the arts. So it is a struggle on a occasion and daily to show the importance. But this is something that we've lost as far as our culture. There's been different eras in time by which art has took forefront in the culture to show its importance. Even in the 60s going to 70s with the shows like Good Times, and you had JJ on those shows, which was actually the artist Ernie Barnes painting those things, and those were kind of those importance of it. And they actually dwelled on that several times in that series, the importance of the artwork, especially one time with the image of Jesus being black or white, So those things are part of culture. But even though so too in the early 90s, when we started having other shows, like of course the Cosby Show showcased a lot of artwork, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air showcased a lot of artwork by Paul Goodnight. So these things started to become part of our daily media and social media and entertainment, which it became important. So even now, we're still trying to bring that back to the forefront, especially now in the time of Black Lives Matter. And art has taken a forefront in that movement of showing, fight for injustice and fight for, the Hair Act that it was moved here in Texas for the natural hair, those type of things. So the art is still a very strong political, a very strong cultural movement and message maker. And it's consistent. It's something that we're going to always have to teach and let the next generation know to carry on.
Amazing. So how many paintings have you drawn, or can you even number?
Yeah, I'm actually in my studio, so there's things on the walls now, but there's actually things that are not here with me too, because I have 2 exhibits going on right now. So and the gallery, the studio is still full. So I don't know. I have not necessarily sat down and took a full inventory, but I'm pretty sure I'm over 100 or so pieces. But and then things that probably have never made exhibit, that are just probably later on down the line would be, part of my retrospective.
So do you actually do paintings of individuals?
Yes, I've done commissions. Yeah, so commissions, but celebrity paintings as well. At this point in time, at the Missouri City Visitor Center here in south of Houston, have the Ali picture, Muhammad Ali's picture is up there. So I've done celebrity pieces as well, but also commissions as well too.
Wow. I'm looking on your website and I see all these beautiful art. Do you mind if I showed a couple?
No, right ahead.
Let me see if I can share that. Give me 1 second. I know how to do this. Let's see. Okay, do you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, okay, yeah, there we go.
All right. So tell me what this is about.
Okay, so again, this is 24/7 Locked series. So of course, all the pieces that are in this series are dealing with women that have natural hair, particularly locks. So the third row is my wife there with the cowrie shells. And so that was that part there. And then as you scroll on, you get to see some of the other ones. The Breathing Through the Years is the gentleman with the hands that are held out. That one is now displayed at the Prairie View Community Center at Prairie View University.
Oh, wow.
So it is on
My
display for this
favorite
month.
schools.
Yeah.
What did they call again?
And Adam, Breathing Through the Years.
Okay. Wow.
Breathing Through the Years basically illustrates during part of the George Floyd
Yes.
struggle. And if you click, I believe, at the bottom of it, it'll give you a larger view.
Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, there you
Wow.
go. Okay. And so it talks about all the quotes that has went through our civil rights. So, I am a man, I can't breathe is now the biggest kind of streaming quote that you'll see. But it also shows the number 44 for Barack Obama, and yes, we can during his time in campaign. Black Lives Matter. It talks about strange fruit here again during the Billie Holiday struggle when she was singing that song in protest of lynching in the South. By any means necessary, of course, is Malcolm X. So these different quotes, and this gentleman holding his hand out to say, is this not enough? Is this not enough? And those quotes are in a kind of a pool of blood dripping down from the back of him as you see it transforms that into the bottom.
Yes.
So, this sacrifice of self for equality.
Oh, wow. And I see that this 13 by 17 is $80, which is really a nice, and you and you pay PayPal. Amen.
Yeah. So yes, this is those are G-clay prints, and G-clay print meaning sprayed ink prints. These are archival on acid-free paper.
Okay. Wow.
So I can do it as small as 8 by 10, or I can do it at this actual size. And the actual size is 60 by 40. So the last time Adam and Eve were sold, the buyer did buy them at the original size.
Really? And it's a 60 by what?
By 40. So that's about 4 feet tall as some people.
Yeah. Right.
But
that's
my
gorgeous.
majority of my originals are fairly large. I work in large scale.
Wow. I see a lot of the fist type hair afro comb on a lot of these. Yeah.
I use a lot of Ndinkra symbols. Ndinkra symbols come from West Africa, from Ghana. Okay. They're used for different ceremonies, but have a lot of different meanings. The comb that you see on a lot of them is the duafe, and duafe is basically used for the women signifying beauty. So I'll use that again. And this is strange fruit. This also on display at Prairie View.
One of my favorites. This is gorgeous.
Strange fruit is probably one of my, at this time, my most controversial piece. It made its debut at the school board. So again, it's a very large piece. So it commands that just by its size, but aesthetically, it has this beauty that draws people in. So most people, when they first see it, they're just like, oh, it's a portrait of a lady in green. But when you actually pulls you in, it asks you to deal with a situation that's within it. So again, this piece illustrates the poem and the song Strange Fruit, which was brought to light originally by Billie Holiday.
Billie Holiday, yeah.
And most recently with Andrea Day, when she played the part in Billie Holiday versus the United States of America.
Wow.
And so this piece illustrates that in a more modern way. The woman in the piece is in all green as she is the tree itself. So she's like the popular tree, as it says in the poem. And from her braids, which we kind of illustrate as branches, or from the braids, are hanging these purple fruit, which are actually people. And so if you get closer into it, you actually can see that the fruit are these people in this kind of fetal position, and they're in purple like plums. So, and they have leaves along the side of their nooses with blood dripping from the leaves and down to the root of the trees. We still keep the microphone there in tribute to Billie Holiday because she was a blues and jazz singer, but also illustrating that this is still an announcement that has to be made, because now it's not as much as we see people hanging from trees, but we are seeing brutality in the streets, still against our people.
Wow, this is one of my favorites, and this is definitely one that I'm buying. The pastor that I play for on Sundays, he had us sing this song one Sunday last year as one of she was it was the last about 3, maybe 4 months ago, and I had never really played the song. I didn't think I could play it, and when I started listening to the lyrics, man, it's amazing. And to see this, it's just I'm buying it for him. I don't want him to know that, but I'm gonna buy this. I probably have to buy it too. I want one for myself. But this is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely good. I'm gonna be broke because I've seen so much art that I want, but this is absolutely amazing. The color,
this is one of the very much a teaching piece. And when I did it, I knew there would be controversy amongst it, especially in the place that I put it. But at the same time, when I presented to my students, they had never heard the song. So, also educating, especially with my cross between the different humanities, I'm using music and poetry to illustrate painting. So, when the students actually get a chance to hear the song and see it, put the two together, it makes it just that more powerful, And there's been a lot of artists who have, sung their rendition of that song as well. But I think, Billie Holiday probably gives it the most power and the most emotion.
Right. Absolutely amazing. Who are your biggest influences?
Just recently, we were in class and we were talking about with my students about some artists that I had met throughout time, and I told them, I said, I'm very blessed to have been in the presence of so many people who are no longer with us anymore. And, I had opportunity to meet Elizabeth Catlett when I was in school in Chicago, and she passed away just a few years ago, I believe about 2012. Also, Margaret Burroughs, the printer and there in Chicago, I used to walk with her in the city. Wow. She died. She was 95 years old when she passed, and got a chance to meet John Biggers here at Texas Southern University back in '95 before he passed away. One of my great influences was Murray DePillars from Virginia Commonwealth. I did a summer course with him. And actually, he's one of the reasons I went to the School of Art Institute. So those were some of the, those who are no longer with us, but yet I had this personal private time with them, that was extraordinary and still part of what I still do today. But more currently, my counselor, my friend, my professor, Robert Cox at Southern University, he just retired this past year, but he is still kind of one of the persons, if I have a question, I'll go to, but Mr. Cox was a great influence. And I used that with Mr. Cox because I was kind of that quiet kid when I first got to college, 17 years old, had the talent, but didn't know how to speak about it. And so, he was one of the few professors that kind of took me under his wing and taught me how to not yet just do your work and why you're doing your work, but also speak on your work, and put me in front of those crowds and made me a better speaker, Wow. And so, I pay a lot of homage to him today. But other than that, I have, other teachers who have taught me other skills. Addie Dawson-Yuba taught me my printmaking skills. Martin Payton, ceramics and welding and those things. So a lot of people have influenced this throughout life, in different phases in time.
So how do you price your art? I mean, how do you put a price on something so magnificent as the two pieces behind you and the one we just saw with strange fruits? How do you price that?
Well, these two pieces behind me are not for sale.
Okay.
Originals.
Okay.
So going to the reproduction, but if I put the reproduction next to them, you couldn't tell the difference.
Right.
But we do, I do sell the originals um, quite often. Actually, the one I had in the fall in Lake Charles, I did the Black Heritage Art Gallery in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and actually sold a couple of originals there. So usually, there's all different type of formulas that every artist will take. They'll say, put in your price, your size, your equipment, and all those different type of things. So I kind of follow something similar to that to making sure that, that I do it. But otherwise, you want to make sure that your piece is going to a home that's going to take care of it, cherish it just as much as you do. It's
Right.
just kind of like, these are your kids,
Right.
like you're sending them off to somebody.
Right.
Put some time and sweat and ideal into it, So we price accordingly. Smaller things will be far a little bit better. One of a kind things, limited editions, and those type of things like that. So it's technique goes in that too. So how the difficulty of level of how to create it goes into it as well.
So if someone gave you a picture, could you? It's like, if I sent you a picture, could you actually just make that for me, or do I need to?
I mean, most of the times when people send pictures, I tell them, I say I need something that's a decent size of clarity, and I let people like I'm not a plastic surgeon. I'm gonna draw what you send. But I've been done commissions throughout life. I had a chance to do the president of Southern University before she, Dolores Spikes, when she was the president of Southern University. I did her portrait during the time of her retirement. But I've done portraits of course, my wife and family members, Ali, different people. So you'll see all types of portraits. Even the pictures that you saw on the website, those are people who gave me permission to use them in those pieces.
They're actually people, not just people. Wow, amazing. So how would someone get in contact with you? I know you mentioned the website. Can you just give?
Yeah, the website, and of course, you can contact through the website. It has a contact link as well to it. And it also will link you to all my other pages, the Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, all those as well. So if you're looking for, www.lloydgwade.com is the website. And then it'll link you to the Instagram, which is probably one of the, interestingly, one of the more active links because it spans kind of more young generation, but it has its older generation too. So I get a chance to, get some feedback from younger people. So the art of Lloyd G. Wade on Instagram and the artwork of Lloyd G. Wade on Facebook. And even with Strange Fruit has been published about 3 different times now. And it made its international debut this year in France.
Oh, so, my Lord.
It has now been published in a French English book. So it's teaching French people how to speak English. And it's under the chapter that calls itself Black Art Matters. So
that's amazing.
That was quite an honor to get that done.
That is absolutely amazing. I am just so proud of you. I mean, when we started doing this, I had no idea that I was going to be introduced to some of the most magnificent artists that I know. Seriously, I had no idea. And when you said you wanted to be a part of this, I'm like, wow. Because I looked at your art, I'm like, really? And to see you and all that you do, I mean, I'm honored. I'm very honored. I just can't wait for everybody to know you more. My God. Thank you again for being here. Just one last thing. If you could, I always ask people this question. If you could go back and tell your 15-year-old self something that you could change the future, what would you tell her?
To, be persistent, understand and like when you ask for something, be very precise of what you're asking for, as we say, as we're praying, you know, when you're telling God, hey, I want this, well, he's not going to just drop it in your lap. You know, he's the, you know, guide me to where I need to do. So, and it's like, as far as my education and different things, I guess going back, I probably would have went straight through and not took the break and then went back.
Yeah.
But you know, those type of things. But we look back at those things and they were for a reason. You know, we had to learn something to get to that point. And I would just say, be persistent, be, you know, more networking. You know, as far as I speak to my young artists now, and I tell my young artists now, it's like I'm telling you what I know, not what I think, because I've already been where you're trying to get.
Exactly.
So,
Wow.
you know, but at the same point, I am trying to get somewhere too. So I'm learning from other artists as well.
Amen.
You know,
Thank you so
we
much for
consistently network. You know,
yeah, consistent. Well,
consistent.
you are on your way wherever God wants you to go. I believe that you already are 5 miles ahead of a lot of us, a lot of folks. Your art is amazing. And I'm just so thankful for you guys to go out, purchase this man's art, look at it. I mean, seriously, we need to support our Black owned folk, you know, folk that, you know, not just those that will sell you junk. This is not junk. This is amazing art. And art doesn't depreciate. Am I right?
Right. Art is
You
an
buy
investment.
a car, you know, it depreciates as soon as you drive off. But it's art, you know, and just think, you buy it now, maybe 10 years from now, this man will be a millionaire times 2, and you was like, look, I have his art. You already be ahead of the game. So
I already got
it. So
right.
I thank you again for being here. Thank you so much for being a part of the showcase. And we will be I can't wait till the reception, so everybody can get together, and we'll make sure you guys are filtered in. Those of you who are virtually. Thank you again for being a part of Testimonies and Praise, and thank you. And I can't wait to, hopefully I'll get to meet you and your wife this summer when I come down to Texas, if you're still there.
Sounds good.
All right. Take care. Thank you again
thank
you guys for watching Testimonies and Praise. It's your host again, Jacqueline Hall Moore, with Mr. Lloyd G. Wade. And you already know his art speaks for itself. God bless you and have a blessed day. Until next time on Testimonies and Praise. Bye-bye.